I beg your pardon?
Darndest thing about life here in Ford County. You'd think with a name like Ford County, people would prefer Ford trucks. Au contraire, people from Ford prefer Chevy trucks.
Always said we were on the cutting edge.
Isn't that the darndest thing?
Could it be we're the bellwether of major societal shifts?
It's mind-boggling. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet. It's mind-boggling.
Well, I've been waiting for days to do an intro to this video, but the wind just will not let up. Every time I have a chance here at home to push this thing outside, it's windy. So we'll do the best we can in these crowded conditions here. This is a 90 Silverado that I just bought. Yeah, I know. It looks great. It has got the 4.3 6-cylinder and 5-speed manual combination. Actually, a combination I really like. I drove a 96, what Chevy called the WT 1500, more of a fleet vehicle, the very basic model, and I never had a moment's problem with it, and it actually was quite peppy for being a 6-cylinder. And whether you're a Chevy or a GM fan or not, you got to admit, during the 90s, they did 6-cylinders very well. So, and this, of course, being based off the small block Chevy, which makes it even better. Now, in a couple of years, a year or two, I'm going to have a teenage driver. So I've been keeping the old peepers open for a small pickup, you know, thinking S10, older Colorado, Sonoma, S15, something along those lines. And this came up. So I had noticed this truck, it's been sitting for about a year on a tractor mechanic's yard amongst all the farm equipment, and just never been moved. So I asked the lady who owned it about it, and she was ready to be rid of it. So I ended up buying it, obviously, and here we go. Now, when I started it for the first time and brought it home, once again, very windy, right next to a busy highway, jammed in among farm equipment. I could not easily film and show you that. So I did get some in the cab shots with my phone. So check these out, bringing it home, and then we'll get back to work on what we need to do with it. Okay, just jumped it and it started right up. Well, after a little bit of cranking, gonna let it warm up a little. It is running rough, so there is something wrong with it, definitely. Clutch feels okay. I kind of have brakes. I think if I can get it running, or driving, I'm gonna just drive it home. Oh, the transmission is right now. Let's see. Yeah, we back up here. I'm gonna get it to a better spot. Oh, I'm a little close to my other truck. So what I'm gonna do, since it's running and it wants to move, I'm not going to trailer it. I think I'll try to get it home as it is. I've got 10 miles. And I'll bring you along. Uh-oh. Pardon me, I'm gonna have to run a stop sign here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This thing has been to a couple different mechanics already, and they haven't been able to figure it out. The owner put hundreds of dollars into it already, and no one's been able to fix it. So I'm so smart, I bought it. I have got no power at all. Seems to be missing on a couple cylinders. The throttle is really unhappy in a wide range of positions. So it'll be interesting to figure this one out. Oh no. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I've got my sweetheart behind me in the big Ram rig in case we need to pull this thing home. Oh yeah. Oh, it sounds terrible. $55. Going the speed limit on this road. Windows busted out, we'll take care of that. But this drivability issue, that's terrible. She told me the cruise worked. Oh, come on. Just took me 5 miles to realize I have no rear view mirror. That's kind of sad. Wonder if someone snatched it. Ah, well, maybe we'll find it. It's humming down the road at 55 just fine. We'll see what happens when we get down to an idle again. So they said they put about $700 into it so far, and I don't know what all that means. Kind of looks to me like throttle position sensor is new. Maybe. Looks newer anyway. Can't tell about the idle air control valve. It might be new also. That would be one of my top suspects. Most importantly, does this work? Alright. That was worth it right there. What do you need? Goodness sakes. Needy, needy, needy. So first things first, I wanted to test fuel pressure, because I very certainly have a fuel problem. And I had to cobble up a tester, because my fuel pressure, you need a special adapter for these old TBIs, which I do not have. I need to get one. So I just clamped the hose onto the fuel line before the pressure, or the fuel filter, and ran it to a generic gauge here. And I've literally got nothing. So, I mean, I've been cycling this on and off. I don't know how I got it to run or drive all the way home, but So the way I like to attack these fuel pumps is to lift the bed up on one side. So we're going to do that, but first I better empty it out. This is another upcoming video. Looks fun, doesn't it? Well, let's get stuck in here. First thing we're going to do is remove the filler neck from the side of the bed. Well, that one's clearly breaking, so we'll deal with that later. Okay, so there's 8 bolts holding this bed on. There's one clear up front and a kind of a typical body mount, and then as you go down along the frame, you got large 1-inch holes or better that you can sneak your socket up through. And that's where the other 3 are. I'm going to take all 4 out on the left side, and on the right side we're just going to loosen them most of the way, but leave them in. Alright, we went ahead and disconnected a ground strap there at the filler neck. And back here by the spare tire, we got a ground wire here that goes into the harness for the tail lights, and I disconnected tail light connector, and that is probably tag light connector. So we should be 100% free to go. Now this should just lift up, which it does. So we need to find something adequate to support it. No. Come on! Alright, as you can see, I've got it block solid at the frame on the back end. On the front end, I put in a strap to an overhead brace for my door, and it's hanging there, so that should be nice and safe. And this is what we're after. It is time to start to undo wires and hoses and lines and what have you. So I think I can give you a good vantage point if I aim you through the door here. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if we get any fuel out of those lines there. Oh, I suppose I should plug the pump back in. Just a little tiny dribble. Alright, I've blown everything off again since we've been working around in there. Undo our connection. I've got a ground wire I need to undo. Now I have had some seized lock rings on fuel pumps before, but this thing, wow, packed with dirt and rocks. Just every time I'm tapping on it, it just covers up with rocks and dirt again, but I got it loose finally. Turn it. So now maybe we can get her popped out of there. Keep going. Sure, this is hard to see. Okay, I think that should be it. See how much crud is still packed around that ring. Have to do our best not to let that fall in the tank. So when you go to replace one of these older units, you have a couple options. You can buy the entire assembly, or you can buy just a pump. And the pump usually comes with the, or it should come with the things that need to be replaced. Except a lot of them don't throw in a strainer, so I bought that separate. So just make sure that whatever brand you're buying, you get that strainer in there. And honestly, this whole problem could be due to a clogged strainer. But these older pumps are cheap enough. It's not like you're spending $300 on that whole GM assembly on this one. So we're gonna get this hose off. Here. Ooh, crispy. Sneak the bottom out of this bracket. If I can get that sock off, I might just tear it off. That's bad. Oh, I'm gonna smell good tonight. Wire off. And this one, if you can see it, has AC right there. I would not be a bit surprised if that thing was more than 30 years old. And that just makes you think, doesn't it? well, there we go. Now, if the connections look fine, then, I mean, yeah, you can put that in there. This is actually a lighter gauge wire than the original. So, I see no problem with it, so I'm not going to bother doing that. I've greased up the new O-ring, so that'll make it hopefully a little easier getting that lock ring started. And I've also vacuumed and scraped out all of the dirt from on top of the tank in the where the ring goes. So I think we're ready to go back. Okay, well, I have everything pertaining to the fuel pump buttoned back up in there. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to leave you here to listen closely. We need to use our ears. Pressured up, or sounded like it anyway. Oh, you starter. Oh. Oh, no. Okay, well, one problem solved. Many more to go. Now, I don't know if you could tell when I was trying to start it, it really sounded like the engine was dragging. And it just sounded like there was a timing issue going on as well. And when I check it here, I don't know if you can see the mark, but it's way out of sight compared to the timing mark. On these old TBIs, you need to disconnect the brown wire right there when you're setting timing, and then we're going to adjust it back to 0. So I can't do all that with the camera, but I'll show you in a minute. And of course, again, I don't know if you'll be able to make it out, but I've got the timing mark on the balancer lined up with the big notch. The bottom notch is 0 on that timing tab. So we'll plug this back in. If I can do this with one hand. And we'll wrench the distributor clamp down. Well, you can hear those injectors going clicky-clack. Okay. We'll have to run some injector cleaner through there. I actually did buy a rebuild kit for the throttle body. Don't know if I'll end up using it or not. After over 30 years, wouldn't be a bad idea, I suppose. Okay. Now if this starter behaves itself, let's listen. Oh, come on. No. Starts right up. Check engine light went off. I think it's getting a little more fuel than it needs. Definitely have to. We'll definitely have to clean those injectors up. You know, about had to be by the grace of God only that I was able to drive this thing home. There must have been an angel pushing on the tailgate the whole way down the road, because absolutely no fuel pressure. When I turned it on, you saw, well, I don't know how well you saw it, but maybe half an ounce of fuel came out, and that was it. It shut off. Timing, way out of sight. Incredible. How did it drive home? And actually, I pulled it into the yard, and then I began filming. You saw me when I started it and pulled it in the first time. That was it. I had not been able to get it to start ever since. I started it on carb cleaner once, and after that I could not get it to run. So, that was it. I'm also amazed. Once again, I'll say it. $700 spent trying to make this thing run. First thing we check, fuel pressure. No fuel pressure, put in a pump, it runs. There is no excuse for that. But hey, we got a cheap truck. So the previous owner was nice enough to throw in a replacement window on this side. And I'd really like to put it in before I'm done here, because, well, frankly, I need to be able to park this thing outside for now. A guy just doesn't have room for all he needs, all he wants. Alright, yeah. Well, where are you? Come on. Oh, you've got to be there somewhere. Come on. There she goes. Well, I know you're where you're supposed to be. Heavens, Betsy! Come on. Here you go. So, you know, you got these rods that go to the door latch. It's for the handle and the lock. One here, one there. And they've got these clips. And you got to get this little tab out of the hole here so that you can slide that forward. And then you're able to pop the rod end out. And then you lose them. And then your rods don't stay in. Oh no, they'll stay in. I found it. So I'm going to pull this out. And then, let's see, I need to bend those little, I think there's little ears on the end of that. So I need to bend those. I'll slide that out, vacuum everything. Track here is loose. I think, oh, that's right. We take this bolt out with this plate. That was the big 10 millimeter bolt, and take that one loose as well. I believe I can leave this track in place. Boy, those things are just not wanting to stay in there. And we'll put our new window on here, we'll grease everything up, and go back together. 75. Well, we decided we'd go ahead and make it back. Runs good, actually. Here is the tentative list of things to do in this order. And actually, like I told you, I made a point of getting the passenger side window in so I could leave it outside because it's just been raining. And now the driver's side window on the hinge side of the door came out of the track, so now I can't roll that up. So I'll have to pull it in and do that whole operation again on the left side. And it really needs the rubber seals for the track. It's part of the problem. But anyway, what we need to do, obviously oil change and grease the thing. Need a starter, which will lead to the ring gear on the clutch, which will lead to the clutch and the bushing, and then the rear main seal, because it is leaking, as you can see. Ignition, I think that would really help. And I mean plugs, wires, cap and rotor. Valve stem seals. Burning a lot of oil when I start it up. Something with the exhaust. I just happened to think we ought to take, if you watch the Sodbuster video, we ought to take that 4-foot glass pack off that sucker and put it on there. Rebuild the TBI, still not a bad idea. Cab corners and rockers, they are rusty. I believe I actually have cab corners up in storage here. Interior, door panels definitely, headliner maybe. Pull the carpet out and pressure wash it. It looks like they took their oil drain pan to O'Reilly's on the floor inside that truck. It's terrible. If I do this, then we'll definitely do paint. Needs paint anyway. Probably just get a fleet white and then, I don't know, maybe we'll do some striping or something fun. Lower the rear, I definitely want to do that, as cheap as that is to buy lowering shackles. And then rims. I would really like some rally rims or something fun on there. But anyway, you guys let me know if you want to see any of this. Definitely, I know you want to see the oil change. Now that it's running, I can get this bad boy out of here. I'm going to put it in storage. I'm talking back and forth with the owner, so we may actually not be done with it. We may be looking at some carpet, front seat, tires, front steering. He's talking about a number of things. We'll just see what happens. But I have another project coming in. The job itself isn't too exciting, but the car that it is will be. So definitely you'll want to stick around for that. So thanks for joining me, guys. We'll see you next time. Man, what a honey of a truck.
It's mind-boggling.